Hey everyone, in this video, we'll uncover the most valuable Abraham Lincoln wheat penny you should be on the lookout for. We'll break down what makes these Lincoln wheat pennies so special, how much they're worth in today's market, and what you need to know to sell them successfully at auction. First up, the 1935 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without. A mint mark is a coin that captures the enduring history of America during the years of the Great Depression. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the absence of a mint mark is the clear identifier of its origin. In that year, more than 245 million wheat pennies were produced in Philadelphia, making the 1935 penny a common issue in terms of overall mintage. However, despite its relatively high production numbers, the coin holds significant appeal because of its connection to an era of hardship, resilience, and recovery in American history. The Lincoln Wheat Penny Series itself began in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin proudly features a right-facing bust of the 16th President of the United States. Above his head is the national motto, "In God We Trust," while the word liberty is positioned to the left of his portrait. And the date 1935 appears on the right. This design remained unchanged through the wheat penny years and became a fixture of American coinage for decades. On the reverse of the coin, the design is equally distinctive and timeless. It features two wheat stalks arching upward on either side, framing the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Above these inscriptions lies the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. The wheat design was chosen as a symbol of America's agricultural strength and resilience, fitting for a country that relied heavily on its farmlands and hardworking citizens, especially during the tough years of the 1930s. The coin is made from a bronze alloy consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. At 19 millimeters in diameter and weighing 3.11 grams. The 1935 penny carries the same specifications as most of the wheat cents produced during that period. Over the years, many of these coins developed scratches, wear, or discoloration, particularly as they circulated heavily during the Depression when every cent mattered to American families. Your coin is described as being in fine condition with some scratches. In numismatic terms, fine means that although the coin has moderate wear, all of the major details remain visible. Lincoln's portrait, while worn, is still clear, and the wheat stalks on the reverse show enough detail to identify the coin without difficulty. The scratches mentioned are typical for circulated coins of this age and add to its story of having passed through countless hands over nearly 90 years. When we talk about the value of a 1935 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in today's market, the condition plays a major role. In fine condition, such a coin is typically worth between 10 and 20 cents to most collectors. The scratches will have some impact on its value, but because this is a common date coin, most of the market value depends on its grade and appeal rather than rarity. In very fine condition, the coin may sell for 25 to 40 cents. In extremely fine condition, the value might increase to around 50 cents. Uncirculated examples with original mint luster can sell anywhere from a few dollars up to $500 or more, especially if graded and certified by a professional service. Although the 1935 wheat penny itself is not considered rare, there are collectors who specialize in building complete sets of Lincoln cents from 1909 through 1958. And they need every date to complete their albums. For such collectors, even a circulated coin in fine condition has importance as it fills the 1935 spot. The affordability of this coin also makes it popular among beginner collectors, who can add an example to their collection without spending a lot of money. It is worth noting that certain varieties and eras from this period can add significant value. For example, double die obverse or reverse varieties, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks from other years are highly collectible. However, the standard 1935 Philadelphia issue without a mint mark, such as yours, is generally valued as a common issue unless it has some unique error characteristics. Beyond monetary value, the 1935 Lincoln penny represents an important period in U.S. history. During that year, the country was still struggling with the effects of the Great Depression. Though signs of recovery were beginning to emerge thanks to New Deal programs and reforms. Coins like your 1935 penny would have been used by families purchasing necessities, saving every cent they could, or perhaps even given as allowance to children during a time when a penny still held real buying power. Each scratch and mark on your coin tells the story of its long journey through American life, from the bustling streets of the 1930s to today's collector market. Next up, the 1929 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is a coin that carries with it both numismatic interest and deep historical significance. Minted at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin represents a period of American history just before the onset of the Great Depression. While more than 185 million Lincoln wheat pennies were struck in Philadelphia during 1929, making this a relatively common issue in terms of mintage. The age and the historical setting of this coin make it fascinating for collectors and history enthusiasts alike. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series began in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first regular U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than a symbolic figure, and its designer, Victor David Brenner, created an image of Lincoln that has become iconic. The obverse side of the 1929 penny shows Lincoln's right-facing bust. Above his head are the words, "In God We Trust," which had become a standard motto on U.S. coinage. To the left of the portrait is the word "Liberty," while to the right sits the date 1929, clearly identifying the year of minting. The lack of a mint mark beneath the date confirms it was struck in Philadelphia, the primary U.S. mint at the time. The reverse design of the coin is equally important in the world of numismatics. It is framed by two wheat stalks on the left and right edges, which gave the series its nickname, wheat pennies. Between the stalks, the words 1 cent appear prominently, signifying the denomination. Beneath it reads United States of America, while above it appears the phrase, E pluribus unum, a Latin motto, meaning out of many. This reverse design symbolizes American unity and agricultural prosperity, both of which were central to the nation's identity during the early 20th century. The composition of the 1929 wheat penny is typical for coins of that era: 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It weighs 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. Like most coins that have circulated for nearly a century, your coin shows some scratches and wear. In numismatic terms, the description of good condition means that while the coin has heavy circulation where the major features such as Lincoln's outline and the basic wheat stalks remain visible. However, many of the finer details are worn smooth. The scratches further tell the story of the coin's long journey through American commerce, passing from hand to hand in everyday transactions. When we turn to the value of the 1929 Lincoln wheat penny in today's collector market, its condition is the key factor. In good condition, the coin generally carries a modest value of about 10 to 20 cents. Collectors typically pay a premium for coins in higher grades. So if the same 1929 penny were found in very fine condition, it might be valued closer to 50 cents. And in extremely fine condition, it could reach 75 cents or more. Uncirculated examples, which have not seen circulation and retain much of their original luster, can sell for several dollars, ranging anywhere from $5 up to $15 or more, depending on quality. Coins certified by grading services in mint state condition can achieve even higher prices, though those are much scarcer. It is also worth noting that error coins from 1929 can carry much higher values. These could include off-center strikes, doubled dies, or other minting mistakes, all of which are prized by collectors. While the standard 1929 Philadelphia penny without errors is common, error varieties can sell for significant sums depending on their rarity and condition, beyond its financial value. The 1929 wheat penny is a small but meaningful artifact of history. It was minted in the same year that the U.S. stock market crashed, plunging the country into the Great Depression. At that time, a single cent had real purchasing power. It could buy a piece of candy, part of a newspaper, or contribute to a family's savings. For many Americans struggling through uncertain economic times, every penny truly counted. Holding a coin like this today connects us directly to that era, reminding us of the struggles and resilience of people who lived nearly a century ago. For collectors, the 1929 Lincoln wheat penny is considered a common date, but it plays an essential role in completing a full Lincoln cent collection. The affordability of circulated examples makes them accessible to beginner collectors, while higher-grade examples remain desirable to more advanced numismatists seeking to assemble high-quality sets. Next up, the 1945 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with the D. Mint mark is a coin that captures both numismatic and historical interest. Minted at the Denver Mint during the closing year of World War II, this coin stands as a small but powerful reminder of an era when the United States and the world were undergoing tremendous change. While billions of wheat pennies were produced during the 1940s, the story and legacy of these coins give them importance far beyond their face value. The Lincoln wheat cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin quickly became one of the most beloved and recognizable coins in American history. The obverse of the 1945 penny continues this tradition, featuring the bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head is the motto, "In God We Trust." To the left side of his portrait is the word "Liberty," while to the right is the date 1945. Just below the date appears the D Mint mark, which signifies that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint in Colorado. On the reverse side, the wheat penny design remains iconic. Two wheat stalks frame the coin on the left and right sides, symbolizing agricultural prosperity and America's farming strength. Between the stalks, the words 1 cent appear prominently, identifying the denomination. Beneath that is United States of America, while the top portion carries the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. This timeless message reflected the unity and resilience of the American people during a period of global conflict. The 1945 D wheat penny was struck from the standard bronze composition of the time, 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Each coin weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. The minting of copper cents had returned to normal by this year, following the one-year experiment in 1943 when steel pennies were produced to conserve copper for the war effort. By 1945, with the war nearly at an end, copper was once again being allocated for coinage. Your coin is described as being in dirty condition with some scratches, which is quite common for coins that have circulated for many decades. The description of dirty condition often means the coin has accumulated grime or discoloration from years of use and storage. The scratches reflect circulation wear, showing that this penny changed hands countless times in everyday American commerce. Although it is not in a high grade, it still holds collectible and historical value, especially for those who appreciate coins tied to the World War II era. When evaluating the market value of a 1945 D Lincoln wheat penny, condition is the most critical factor. In today's market, a circulated coin in dirty or heavily worn condition is typically worth between 5 and 15 cents. For coins in very fine condition, the value might rise closer to 25 cents. Extra fine examples can range from 30 to 50 cents. And uncirculated pieces with original mint luster may sell for $2 to $5 or more, depending on their quality. Certified high-grade examples, especially those graded mint state 65 or above, can fetch even higher values among serious collectors. It is important to note that while the 1945D penny is not rare due to its large mintage, certain era varieties from this year are much more valuable. Examples of doubled die obverses, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes can dramatically increase the coin's worth. Collectors actively seek out these varieties, and their values can range from several dollars to hundreds depending on rarity and condition beyond its numismatic value. The 1945D Lincoln penny is an artifact of its time. It was minted in the same year that World War II came to an end, with the surrender of Germany in May and Japan in September. For Americans living during that time, every penny had meaningfully represented the sacrifices made on the home front and the hope for peace after years of war. Pennies like this circulated in the pockets of soldiers returning home, factory workers who supported the war effort, and families who had endured years of rationing and uncertainty. For collectors today, the 1945D wheat penny may not hold great monetary value, but its historical context makes it an appealing piece. It represents not only the Lincoln cent series, one of the most popular collections in U.S. coinage, but also the resilience of a nation during one of the most challenging times in modern history. Even in dirty condition with scratches, it is a coin that tells a story, one of perseverance, unity, and transition into a post-war America. Next up, the 1949 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is a fascinating coin for collectors and history lovers alike. While at first glance it may seem like just another old penny, this coin represents an important period in America's post-war history. Produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark at the time, the 1949 penny belongs to the beloved wheat cent series, a design that had already been circulating for 4 decades and had become one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. The obverse of this coin, like all Lincoln wheat cents, features the portrait of the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. This portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner, was first issued in 1909 to mark the centennial of Lincoln's birth. By 1949, the design had already become a familiar symbol of honesty, leadership, and American values. The obverse also carries the motto "In God We Trust" at the top, the word liberty to Lincoln's left, and the date 1949 to the right of his bust. Because this particular coin was struck in Philadelphia, there is no mint mark below the date. The reverse of the coin continues with the classic wheat ears design. 2 stylized stalks of wheat arch around the left and right edges, symbolizing prosperity and agricultural strength. Between them are the bold words 1 cent showing the denomination. And below that, United States of America above, the motto E pluribus unum is inscribed, a Latin phrase meaning out of many, one. Even though this is a small coin, the symbolism is significant. It represented unity and abundance, both of which were important themes in post-war America. The 1949 Spleam wheat penny was made of the standard bronze alloy used after World War II. It consists of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving the coin its rich reddish-brown appearance when freshly minted. It weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. Because it was struck in large numbers, with over 217 million pieces minted in Philadelphia alone, it is not considered a rare coin. Still, many collectors pursue this issue to complete their wheat penny sets. Your coin is described as being in fine condition with some scratches. In coin grading terms, fine means the details of Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks on the reverse are visible but show moderate wear from. Circulation The scratches further indicate handling and use over the years, which is to be expected for a coin that has been in circulation for more than 70 years. While it is not a high-grade piece, it still has collectible interest and is a piece of American history. When it comes to market value, the condition plays a critical role. A 1949 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition typically sells today for around 10 to 20 cents. If the coin is in very fine or extra fine condition, values may rise to 25 to 50 cents. In uncirculated grades, especially when the coin retains much of its original mint red color, values can reach $2 to $5 or even higher depending on eye appeal. At the very top of the scale, certified mint state coins graded MS-65 or above may bring $20 or more at auctions or from specialized collectors, while most 1949 wheat pennies are common. Error varieties can make certain examples worth much more. Collectors have documented repunched mint marks on Denver and San Francisco issues, though for the Philadelphia coin without mint mark. Doubled die varieties are occasionally found. A doubled die obverse, where elements of the date or lettering show doubling under magnification, can make the coin worth several dollars or more depending on rarity and grade. Beyond the numbers, the historical backdrop of the 1949 penny gives it a deeper meaning. The United States in 1949 was entering a new era, moving past the hardships of World War II and beginning to experience post-war growth and prosperity. It was also the early period of the Cold War, a time when the nation was adjusting to new global responsibilities. Coins like this penny would have been part of everyday transactions, buying newspapers, candy, or household items in a rapidly changing America. Each piece circulated widely, carrying with it a trace of history from the pockets of ordinary citizens. For collectors today, the 1949 Lincoln cent without a mint mark may not be a rare or highly valuable coin, but it remains an important part of the wheat penny series. It fills a necessary slot in collections and connects us to the late 1940s, a period of optimism, rebuilding, and progress. Even in fine condition with scratches, your coin tells a story, one of resilience, economic recovery, and the continuing legacy of Abraham Lincoln as a symbol of honesty and unity. Next up, the 1942 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is one of those coins that instantly connects us to an important time in American history. While at first glance it may appear as just another old copper cent, this coin carries both numismatic and historical significance. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint during the height of World War II, the 1942 wheat penny represents a piece of the nation's story as it's faced one of the most challenging periods in the 20th century. The obverse of the coin features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. This design was first introduced to mark the centennial of Lincoln's birth and became the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real person. On the obverse, we see Lincoln's bust facing right. Above his head is the motto, "In God We Trust," a reminder of faith and resilience, which was especially meaningful during the wartime years. To Lincoln's left is the word liberty, and to his right is the date 1942. Since this coin was struck in Philadelphia, there's no mint mark under the date. Turning to the reverse, we find the iconic wheat ears design, which gives the wheat penny its nickname. Two stylized wheat stalks curve around the sides, enclosing the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Above them is the motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. The symbolism of this design is powerful agriculture representing the strength of the nation, unity represented in the motto, and the bold lettering reinforcing the coin's role as part of America's everyday economy. The 1942 Lincoln wheat penny was made of the standard bronze alloy of the time, consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Each coin weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. Over 657 million Lincoln cents were minted in Philadelphia that year, so the coin is not rare in general terms. However, collectors today still prize it for its historical value and as an important part of any complete wheat cent collection. Your coin is described as being in very fine condition with some scratches. In coin grading, very fine condition means that while the coin shows moderate wear from circulation, most of the main details remain sharp. On the obverse, Lincoln's hair and cheekbones are still distinct, and on the reverse, the wheat stalks retain visible definition. The scratches you mentioned suggest that the coin has seen real circulation and handling, but this is expected for a coin over 80 years old. While not pristine, it still carries collectible appeal. In terms of market value, the 1942 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is modestly priced. In very fine condition, it typically sells for around 15 to 30 cents in today's coin market. If it were in extra fine condition, the value could rise to 35 to 50 cents, and in uncirculated grades, especially with original red luster, the value might range from $2 to $5. In certified high-grade mint state examples, collectors may pay $20 or more. Because your coin has some scratches, its value will likely be closer to the lower end of the range, perhaps around 15 to 20 cents, while most 1942 wheat pennies are common. Error varieties are always worth looking out for. Collectors have discovered doubled die obverses in some examples, where the date or lettering appears doubled under magnification. Off-center strikes, die cracks, or other minting errors can also add significant value. Even a small error can turn an otherwise common coin into a collectible worth several dollars or more. The historical background of this coin adds to its charm. In 1942, the United States was fully engaged in World War II. Just a year earlier, the attack on Pearl Harbor had drawn America into the global conflict. By 1942, wartime mobilization was in full swing, and the economy was shifting toward military production. Copper was in high demand for ammunition and equipment, so coinage materials were soon to change. This makes the 1942 penny particularly interesting, as it was among the last bronze cents before the emergency switch to steel cents in 1943. Owning this coin is like holding a reminder of a nation preparing for war, making every penny count both economically and symbolically. For collectors today, the 1942 Lincoln cent without a mint mark is not especially rare or expensive, but it holds important value within the wheat penny series. It marks the transition point before the wartime steel cent experiment and represents resilience during a period of global conflict. Many people collect it not for its price tag, but for its history and its role in the everyday lives of Americans. In the 1940s, in conclusion, the 1942 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark, large date, in very fine condition with scratches, has a current market value of around 15 to 30 cents. While its monetary value is modest, its historical importance is far greater. It is a coin that tells a story of American strength during wartime, the continuity of Lincoln's legacy, and the way even small change carried symbolic weight in the lives of everyday citizens. For collectors, it is a necessary and meaningful part of the wheat penny series, a piece of history preserved in copper.